Hello everyone, I am Gupta and I am from Y17 Economic Sciences Department. Welcome to this virtual InternGyan session. Before moving to session, I just like to introduce myself first. So as mentioned earlier, my name is Jay and currently I am doing my summer internship at Credit Suisse. It's a Switzerland-based financial firm whose head office is at Mumbai in India. Earlier, I have worked in a algo trading startup. It was Quantify Capital. I have worked as a position of quant researcher there. I also have 1 year experience in research under Suman Saurabh sir. He's the professor in IME department of corporate finance. In summer 2019, I have done a project under Soprava Nath sir as my search project. Before moving further, I just want to clarify one thing that in this video, I will be talking about quant analyst role and financial analyst role. There are many multinational financial firms which usually come to campus for internship hiring, but not all have proper fin role. And I just want to recommend you that if you are planning to take your career in financial firm, just prepare for both type of role, because the recruitment process for both roles are quite similar. So the first step for both type of firms is resume shortlisting. They usually have 7 to 7.5 CPI criteria. Then in second step, they usually take a quant test. For quantitative analyst role, they probably have two sections. One will include the question from probability and statistics puzzles, and second section will have one competitive coding question. But for proper fin role, they usually have only quantitative test, which have questions from probability and statistics and general economics questions, such as what is inflation and what is repo rate, kind of this. Then third step for fin role, especially for the fin role such as Nomura and Credit Suisse, they usually have a group discussion. And in fourth step, there is a 2 to 3 or 4 round of interview in which they usually discuss the project courses which you have done. Then they ask you question from quant, probability and statistics, puzzles. For quant role, it may happen that they can ask few questions related to data structure and algorithm, but in most of the companies, they prefer to ask quantitative problems, such as the questions from probability and statistics. Then few companies also have guesstimates problem, such as in Nomura. The usually fin role involve this guesstimate problems, so prepare it as well. And then the HR questions. So these are some undermined questions which usually people don't prepare for it, but I will recommend that one should have a little grasp on these questions as well. Since we have looked into the typical recruitment process, we will move forward in preparation strategy. So these are some very good resources from where you can practice the puzzles. So Briangle, Geeks for Geeks, and Brainsteller do have a very good collections of all types of puzzles which are asked in the interview and the test. Gurmeet puzzle and IIT Bombay CSE blogs are quite difficult puzzles, but you can try if you want. Then for aptitude test, Pariksha.com is quite famous. They have a very good set of aptitude mock test, so one can practice into. For the coding questions, one should at least have gone through the interview bit, because for quant role there are questions from the competitive coding, and they usually are exactly same from what you can find in interview bit. So you should at least practice some basic ESC 101 type of coding on interview bit. I will recommend you to try to solve as many puzzles as possible, because companies usually take puzzles and problems from these websites and these resources. So you can find many exactly same questions in test or even in interview. So many people think that they can solve these simple puzzle or kind of probability and basic probability and statistic question in exam, but it become very hard when you have a time constraint, because these companies usually have 20 question in 20 minutes, so it's become very difficult to solve one question in 1 minute. So I seriously recommend you to practice a lot from these websites. Now we will look into the preparation strategy for both role individually. For quant role, one should have at least done 50 challenging problem in probability and statistics, and questions from Brainsteller. It have a very good classification of easy, medium and hard problems in the website. So you can attempt many questions from many different uh, types. For example, basic mathematics, probability and statistics, and puzzles from Brainsteller. You can also try from Triangle, uh, questions from Triangle, and you can, if you have sufficient time, you can also try to do some questions from Hard on the Wall Street. But the first two resources are completely sufficient for the preparation. For finance, you can read stuff from Investopedia. You can learn about terms, what the financial terms mean from directly from Investopedia. You can refer to the book Options, Futures and Other Derivatives. It's written by JC Hull. It's a very famous book in the field of finance. You can definitely refer to first, second, third, fourth chapter, fourth chapter from the book. You can also refer the book Investment by Bodhi. So it's also a very famous book. Even you can do 1 or 2 basic corporate finance course from Coursera. So you can have a very good grasp on financial terms. For FinRel, company usually in interview ask very basic stuff from finance, because they really don't expect from students that they have a very good background in finance. So what happened in fin roles as well, that they usually ask puzzles, problems from probability and statistics, and problem from basic economics courses, because they also know that it's an technical institute and people usually don't have any very good background for fin. And in quant role, essentially they will ask problems in probability and statistics and basic puzzles. So some of the institute courses which are useful for the preparation is MSO or HSO for probability and stats, financial econometrics, but I don't expect that any second year student till have done this course, so it will not be helpful for the internship. Then ESE 101, essentially because for quant role there will be question from competitive coding, and econometrics 1 and econometrics 2 will be helpful. So these resources will be helpful for placement, but I don't expect that people have done these courses. Now I think I have sufficiently talked about the preparation strategy for test. Now I will just add few more other tips from my side. First of all, there is no need of doing some ML or AI courses for the fin and quant role, because they are totally not essential or neither necessary for the internship preparation. Second, you should be able to explain each and every point of your resume. So you should have gone through the every point of your resume, because in interview they are going to ask a lot question from your resume. And what happened in my case, that nearly 1 hour of interview was done for me, and in 1 hour I think 40 to 45 minutes they have only discussed only one of my project, that was on finance itself. So they find it quite interesting, and they just like ask lots of questions from that particular project itself. And if there is a one can explain its project and its resume very well, there is no chance that he or she will be rejected. So just prepare yourself very well on your resume, because you must be able to explain yourself in front of interviewers in the interview about your project, yourself, and every stuff which you have done in the past 2 years. So you should work on your communication skills, because it's going to definitely help in the interview. And I think that's it for the other tips. Now I will move to the questions which you guys have asked. So the first question is difference between quant profile and finance profile. So in terms of preparation, I don't think so that there is a very big difference. Both involve a practice of puzzles, probability and statistics, aptitude, The main difference is in finance profile, in interview and in test, they are not going to ask the coding part, but in quant profile, they are definitely going to ask one coding question, and maybe in interview itself, they can ask few questions from data structure and algorithm. In working, in internship, the both profile have again a distinguish on this coding stuff. So quant profile involve coding on different languages, whereas in finance, pure finance profile, the work primarily works on Excel. So the main difference between profiles is this. I will just recommend each one of you who is planning for financial role, just prepare for both of them, because it's not going to harm you in any ways. And to be very honest, there are very few companies which specifically come for finance profile. So there are only 4 or 5 companies which come for finance profile. Rest of all just come for both. So just prepare for both, I guess. So next question is, what are the different options available in terms of company? So you can see I have listed down some few companies which came this year. I don't think that there are more than 1 or 2 companies which I forgot to jot it down. So here you can see there are only very few companies for either quant or finance. And the main point is that these companies are open to all. So that's why I seriously recommend all of you to like prepare well, because there is a very good competition in these companies. The third question is, can we get a good placement or internship by focusing only coursework? So I don't think so that one can like achieve very good results from only focusing on coursework in terms of preparation, because there is only one course which second year I could have done, that is MSO or HSO, but I don't think they have finished it because of this pandemic. So for internship, I recommend to work on yourself and prepare for the internship. For placements, I guess it could be true, because there are some good courses in IME department, CSE department, Eco departments, which offer, which give a good exposure of DS, algorithms, finance, and econometrics and prop stats. So placement, maybe it's true, but not for internship, not at all for internships. So next question is it necessary to convert to MS to get a core economics job? So before answering this question, by core economics job, I guess you guys mean that to get an offer of a economist in some bank or professor in some university, or if you want to say IES, that is Indian Economic Services, or RBI Grade B officer. So these, in all 4 jobs, I guess pursuing master could help that, because in especially government job, there is a requirement that the candidate should have a master degree uh, before sitting in the exam. So it will helpful in if you convert your program to bachelor's to master's, if you are planning to go for PhD program, or planning to sit in a government exam. But if you are planning to pursue a career in corporate, uh, I don't think that there is a very good benefit in converting to masters, because only 1 or 2 extra companies open for master students. Rest all of them opens for bachelor and master. So I think there is no direct benefit in case of non-core jobs in corporate world. It's good for if you are planning to go for a government job. Next question is, what are research opportunities in economics and finance? So there are very good opportunities for research in finance as well as in economics. From our department, usually 3 to 4 guys each year go for research intern in foreign. So, and they don't have a very good, very high CPI, that is 9.5 or 9.2 kind of. They have a gentle CPI of 8.5 or 8.7. In fact, I myself have applied for my test before getting offer from Credit Suisse, but later I stepped out from the process because I got an offer from the Credit Suisse, and my preference was industrial. So that's why I stepped out of that program. But I got shortlisted for interviews and call from the universities of Canada. So I personally believe that there is a very good opportunities right there in research as well in these 2 fields. As a final tip, I just want to add one last thing that I just forgot to mention, that there in interview strategies, that if you are planning to sit for the financial role, just prepare well. If you don't, if you have one project in your resume related to economics or finance, then it's definitely give you an edge in the financial role. But still, if you don't have, it's not a very big demerit, because companies really don't expect you that you have a very good projects or background in finance. You should be able to answer all the questions from your resume. You should be able to present yourself very well in front of interview. You should have very good grasp of probability and statistics, and puzzles. You should be able to solve puzzles in front of them. Then it's going to work, because many of my friends who don't have any project in finance also got selected in these types of company. So there is no like a necessity of having some good project. If you have one, then it's going to help you and give you an edge. But if you don't have one project in your resume, just don't get demotivated. Just prepare for a quant and finance role, and go for the interview. That's it from my side. If you have anything else to ask, you can directly ping me. Thank you, and all the very best for your preparation and internship. In case you have any doubt, you can ping me.